Thanks for coming to the channel here today. We're going to be going over Neriv, Heart of the Storm, one of the new commanders from Tarkir Dragonstorm, and my personal favorite from the set. So what Neriv wants to do is have your creatures attack the turn they come in. This way they could deal some double damage. In order to make sure our creatures could do that, we have plenty of cards to give them haste, cards that will have Mobilize or Myriad. This way the tokens that come in could attack and deal damage the turn that they come in as well, along with some creatures or cards that'll make sure to deal the damage they can deal the turn they come in. But we'll be going over the cards one by one. If you do have your own little tips or tricks for the deck, make sure you leave them down there in the comment section and subscribe so you can follow for more exciting deck profiles. But the first card we have in the deck is Rising of the Day to give our creatures haste and a little power bonus. Enduring Courage to do the same, but it starts off as a creature and stays around the first time it gets destroyed. Berserker's Onslaught for double strike for our creatures. This way, if we're dealing double damage, we'll deal double to double damage while we're at it. There are plenty of other cards that do triple damage or double damage based on your creatures dealing damage, but we don't really run that many in this deck because it's not what I personally find fun for this. Anger also gives our creatures haste and has haste itself to deal damage. All Out Assault will give our creatures a little bit of a power bonus along with Death Touch and an extra combat. This way, when our creatures do stick around from the Myriad or the Mobilize, they don't get sacrificed quite yet and can deal that damage there again. We have Nahir's Resolve to give our creatures haste, that little power bonus, and also make sure they can enter time and time again. Sunspine Lynx is able to deal the damage the turn that enters based on the amount of lands that your opponents control, and also it deals that double damage. Little thing about this is equal to number of lands that player controls. So that does include you, so be careful with sometimes when you run that. We have Windcrag Siege. If creatures attack, cause a triggered ability attack, such as Mobilize or Myriad, that'll happen again. Or if you want a Hasty Goblin to do the finishing off next turn, that's there as well. Ishin does the same thing with the doubling the attack triggers with the Myriad or the Mobilize mechanic. Zergo Stormrender makes it so that when our tokens do end up biting the dust, we can make sure we either get draw power or dealing damage to our opponent. Vampiric Rites gives us that draw power by sacrificing those creatures as well. Thunder of Unity gives us a little bit of burn damage to our opponent when those Myriad or Mobilized tokens do enter. Just a little bit of extra damage there, and that little bit of draw power helps out there as well. Hardened Tactician, same thing as Vampiric Rites, letting us draw that extra card. Dire Sight, just a good draw spell. Desperate Measures, this way, if we do have some mobilized creatures on the board, we could use this on them, get rid of them, and get that draw 2 off that. Combustible Gear Hulk, either some damage or some draw power off that. Both are good. We'll go over to the further right when we get over to it, but we'll be going over here next. Of course, we do run lands. We run Arid Mesa, Ash Barrens, Bloodfell Caves, but we'll be getting to those later. Because I'm sure you know what lands run, and I personally am just not that great at building a land base. As you can see, I run Evolving Wilds in almost every deck. Lightning Grease gives our creatures haste. It's only one of them, but, a little bit of one person getting that bonus doesn't hurt. Marshal the Lost will give our creatures bonus to their power based on the amount of creatures that are on the board. Helps out with the Mobilized Myriad, getting all those tokens on the board, giving them that extra combat power, dealing the +X is really +X 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 because of that double damage. Solemn Simulacrum for some lands and a little bit of draw power. Soul Ring, Sneak Attack. This way, the way that Neriv works is that it's if a creature entered this turn, so if we do sneak a creature in, they could even deal that double damage during your opponent's turn if we need a little bit of protection, or, just give a creature haste so they could deal double damage to your opponent. Mardu Monument, we are in Mardu, so we don't really have that much mana fixing compared to some other color combinations, and also this gives us some hasty little tokens as well. The Raise Boar, same thing as Sneak Attack, helping us sneak a creature in, dealing that extra damage. Goldlust Triad, it has the Myriad, it has the Flying, it gets you some treasure tokens, doesn't hurt, and also double damage, 8 damage to each opponent. Commander Sphere for some extra mana, and a little bit of draw power if you need it. Captain Lantern's Storm has haste, gets you a treasure token, helps out there a bit. Boros Signet for some extra mana. Black Market, since our creatures will end up biting the dust from the mobilize abilities, so may as well get some extra mana off them. Arcane Signet for that extra mana as well. Warstorm Surge is really fun in this deck because the way that works is that whenever a creature you control enters, it deals damage to its power, equal to its power to any target. So that will deal the double damage based on that as well. Vandal Blast for a little bit of removal. Swords to Plowshares, once again removal. Saw it in half, just because if you'll notice I do have basically the entire Deadpool secret lair in this deck, so I figure we may as well have a place to put it. And also, if we get it onto a creature like Solemn Simulacrum or Sunspinelings, it could deal that double damage again. And also, creatures will have haste, so they could deal that damage again as well. Rankle and Torbrand, flying, first strike, haste, treasure tokens, sacrificing creatures, dealing extra damage. Never hurts there. Path to Exile for a little bit more removal. Deadpool really benefits off of the myriad abilities that we have in this deck, so I figured we may as well just throw it on in here. Deadly Relic for a little bit of removal. Callous Sellsword. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any other target. So, in case you just need that little bit of extra damage to be dealt to your opponent, you have it here with the sorcery side of it. And if you just need a creature on board, you have that side as well. Blasphemous Act for a board wipe on this one. Then we have plenty of token creators on this deck. We have Avenger of the Fallen for the Mobilize. Blade of Cells for a little bit Myriad. Bone Cairn Butcher to give your tokens Death Touch and mobilize himself. Dokavon Pack Beast for that Mobilize. Duke Older for Myriad. Echoing Assault, it's basically a little bit of Mobilize, but also you get your ETB abilities off there as well. Electrical Survivors, Trample, Myriad, plenty of damage being dealt with that Trample, plus Myriad to each opponent. I keep clicking on the wrong cards. Frontline Rush, get 2 goblins if you need them, but really, based on the amount of Mobilize that you have, you want to give your creatures a +X/+X. Heroic Reinforcements, creatures you control get +1/+1 in haste, in case we just need something extra to swing in if all of our haste enablers get removed. Ironwill Forger for that Myriad ability. Lagomos, Hand of Hatred. There's a little bit of search power there, but also the 2/1 hasty creature. But we do mostly run it for the search, in case we do need a tutor in this deck. Mardu Siegebreaker. It basically has Myriad. It makes it so that you can have become any creature that you want with that Myriad ability. Midnight Mayhem for some hasty tokens. Nightblade for the Death Touch Mobilize, and Surveil is always helpful. Othari Sun's Glory, you have the tapped and attacking Rebel tokens. It's not quite mobilized, but it's pretty similar, and also you get more and more tokens every turn. Reigning Victor, once again, mobilize. Stadium Headliner, sacrifice it, get rid of one of your opponent's creatures, or just the mobilize ability. Taste of Karlov, it's more so for the second ability, such as creature tokens you have with the Vigilance and Haste. Vigilance we don't really care about because they'll be getting sacrificed at the end of the turn. But also, like, if we do have Black Market connections and this on board as well, that helps there. And the lifelink is helpful for that, a little bit of extra life gain, since we'll be swinging in a lot. Jolly Balloon Man, make token copies of your creatures with haste. It has haste itself, fun there. Haste the Myriad with Tiamat's Fanatics. And Voice of Victory for the Mobilize, and just the overall good ability not letting your opponents cast stuff during your turn. War Effort, basically Mobilize ability. And Zergo's Vanguard, getting stronger for each creature you have. Alright, let's go scroll on over to the other side of the deck. Yep, there we go. Alright, we have Gornog, the Red Reaper, has haste. You'll be having a lot of warrior tokens swing in, so you may as well get the benefit off their ability as well, and give them that bonus power, which could be doubled if you have other cards on board. That'll help that out. And then we may as well take some extra combat since we're going to be swinging in a whole bunch. Cards like Overpowering Attack, Full Throttle, Aurelia the War Leader, and Aggravated Assault. I'll still show what lands we have, but like I said, we don't really run too expensive a land-based Iron Mace, so we just pulled from a pack, so that's why we have it in this deck. But make sure, like I said, leave your comments on what you think of the deck down there in the comment section. We'll be covering some other commanders from not just Tarkir Dragonstorm, but the other sets that are well, just other commander decks that we have. We've built quite a few, but make sure you stay tuned so that you can and subscribe for the next one. Thanks for watching.